Welcome to Uninfluenced. This is the first Monday edition where we're going to be answering questions that we got from you guys, and they're going to range from all kinds of fucked up shit. From, why don't we have hats? I don't know, bitch. I can't find nobody to make them. And things like that. So it can be pretty much anything. Whatever you want to know, we're going to sift through and answer the questions we want to answer. So make them intelligent or make them stupid. We'll probably answer the stupid ones faster. First one. Yeah, I haven't even looked at this, so I'm not answering that. You might have something. What do you got? What are your guys' thoughts on the U.S. stepping in and taking action to assist the Ukraine?
I think it's a crock of shit. I wish that this administration and our government would take as much interest in maintaining the United States democracy as they do some other country in fucking Europe. It's none of our fucking business. We should keep our nose out of it. And I think it's a huge fucking mistake for us to even have an opinion on it, let alone get involved. Like, that's their fucking problem.
What are the two key components for canine success? That's effective training and proper nutrition. Fueled by Team Dog brings those two components to your family and best friend. The perfect nutritional balance that results in a higher mental acuity, energy, overall vitality, and even an improved appearance. Every product you will find in my company's store was born from the battlefield and not from the boardroom. Let my life's work help you become your dog's hero.
Yeah, what he said. Again, if you guys want to ask a question, it's ask.uninfluenced@gmail.com. Link also in the description of the YouTube video. Let's get on to the next one. Ooh, this is a good one, but I'm going to save it. Matt and Mike, what's your favorite bourbon? Hold on. This is a two-part question, but I want to do the whole thing. Matt and Mike, what's your favorite bourbon? Rohan, what's your favorite Capri Sun?
Strawberry banana.
Surprising, it's actually a fruit punch.
The fact that you even know is...
Surprisingly, they got this new flavor my boss gives me called Man Batter.
and
weird.
And it's not surprising.
Yeah.
It's actually not surprising.
I don't drink. I used to drink. When I would drink, I was a cheap bastard. It was like it's a single barrel Crown Royal shit they were doing at the time.
Yeah.
And apparently this single barrel's still fucking going on, so it wasn't too fucking single.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, but I mean, I was just a Crown Royal and Coke, Crown and Coke, higher end Crown, but.
Yeah. For me, overall, I like Blanton's the best. I do like the high end shit, Pappy's, but to just drink for the sake of enjoying a glass of bourbon, I like Blanton's. Specifically, the green label Private Reserve is probably my favorite. The standard, regular kind of tan label, just regular formula is a close second. I've tried the gold and the single barrel and all that other stuff, and yeah, they're all good, but the regular blend and the Private Reserve is my favorite.
What was that stuff you tried to give me a couple Christmases ago? Was that Pappy's?
No. It was probably Blanton's I know it smelt like, you know how it can come off with the smell? It smelt real smooth. Like it would have tasted real. And I watched you drink it and it looked like it was so smooth. Yeah, my guess is either Blanton's or it may have been like Macallan or some scotch, but
yeah.
I don't even remember.
I like this one. What is your favorite podcast to listen to? I'll start. It's going to sound weird, but I stay so focused on making sure I can do something decent for us that I'm always listening to other shit, which I'm going to get better at, but it's more watching reviews of other people, seeing what's going on. But I really like, and this is me being biased, I really like Vigilance Elite and Clint's. Clint's I like the most because it don't feel like a normal type of podcast. It's like I'm sitting there answering along, and I'm scoring myself with it.
Yeah.
And it's just pretty neat. And when I was on his podcast, I've watched them all, but being there when he hits you with those 2 words and you have to give him a fucking answer, it's like, bitch,
yeah,
finish the question. No, that's the question. It's this or this.
Yeah.
I like his. And then, of course, I watch Mic Drop. When I'm in the Mic Drop, I try not to comment a lot. Some of you guys see that I'm in there, and I'll talk back and forth, but I don't like to take away from what Mike's doing at the time. So that's how we kind of started this, watching his interview skills. The dude can interview the shit out of people. What are yours? Oh, it's a different dude.
So I mean, I don't really have one is the short answer. And I don't listen to podcasts hardly ever. Maybe that surprised you, maybe it doesn't. But for me, just doing one and co-hosting another one, number one, like I don't like to watch interviews of anybody that I am going to have on. And if I've had them on, just from a time standpoint, I'm not going to spend the time watching them on somebody else's show either. Because I don't want to ask them something that somebody else did and already know the answer to it. I may repeat the question, but I want my response to it to be authentic and not, already know it. So for that reason, I don't watch a whole lot of them. I will watch certain ones, Vigilance Elite or Clint's or Rogan or whatever, if there's a specific guest that I really, really want to listen to, or if it's a topic that I'm super interested in and want to know more about, or if there's like a clip from it that, is a big deal for whatever fucking reason, then I may listen to it that way. But that's really about it. I just don't listen to a lot of them, just because I'm so inundated with it from the day to day. But
yeah, and the current event ones that real good to listen to is the Drinking Bros and things like that. They're real good on current events. It's up to you to go in on all these podcasts. We're, as hosts, just creating an opinion that we have. Everything we say isn't a fact. Yeah. Hell, some of the shit we read that states a fact isn't a fucking fact by the time it comes out nowadays. I like this one here. Okay. Should I even be putting who these are from? Some of the people didn't like that I was doing that.
I would say no. Yeah. There's no reason to.
I mean, you asked the question. At what point while you've been working do you finally cut it off and take off some time? You've worked your ass off to further your business, financial goals, and there's still more work to do. But you've been neglecting your family, yourself, for a long time. How long is that? What does it take for you to finally say enough is enough?
So for me, even for me, it depends. But I would say for everybody, that's going to be driven by a number of factors, which is, I think, primarily where are you as it relates to where you want to be. Everybody has their limit. I do think that overworking yourself is glorified in our society, which is weird because a lot of other things that have nothing to do with drive or work ethic, and in fact, quite the opposite, victim mentality and the woe is me attitude seems to get glorified as well. So it's kind of a strange dichotomy, but it's not good to just run yourself into the ground over and over and over. On the same token, I think you also need to be at a place where it warrants or justifies. And that's not necessarily an amount of time. For some people it may be 9 months, for some people it may be 6 years. I think you need to be at a point where by taking a break, it's not going to give you 4 steps back and take a bunch of the progress that you've made away. To me, if you're in that kind of emergent or dicey of a spot professionally, then you keep going as long as you have to. I will say that try to balance the whole neglecting your family thing. Believe me, I've fucking been there, running a business and trying to build a business while you've got young kids, and that is tough. But to me, like taking your kids on a vacation, or should I say not taking them on like some 2-week fucking fancy vacation isn't neglecting them. Spend time with them at the park, read to them at night, things like that you can do day to day, are far more important anyway. So maybe that's Captain Obvious shit, but to me, if whatever it is that you're doing professionally is so stressful and so busy to where you can't carve out little chunks of time throughout your days, most days, do things like that, spend a half hour, playing tag at the park or reading most nights or helping with bath time or fucking, family dinners when they're young, then you're just fucking doing it wrong, and you should probably pick something else. Even as busy as I was, we still did all that kind of stuff when the kids were young. So to me, it just depends. But I think the short answer is when it makes sense to, and you're not going to completely fuck yourself over in doing so. And then also just kind of when you need it.
Yeah, for me, it's last break I had was when I got married in September of 2019. Other than that, I'd say I worked 6, sometimes 7 days a week. Hell, I'll message him sometimes at 9 o'clock at night about stuff we have going here. We talk about all types of business all the time. As far as taking a vacation, I haven't taken a break in a while, other than I got married, and that was more work than work. But you got to take breaks. I haven't had a young kid in a while. My wife's pregnant now with my daughter. I've admitted on the show that I put work before everything to make sure she had more. If I could do it again, which I'm going to get to, I'm going to take the time to be there more for my kid. Now, I was at almost every cheer competition my daughter did, every dance recital, every play. I made time for that type of stuff. But like Mike said, it's those small things of making time to be there for family dinners and the dress up. And I mean, hell, you have a little girl, the silly shit like letting your little girl sometimes put makeup or do shit like that, or you're playing with dolls and shit like that with her. As men, we look at that as, oh man, that's weak bitch shit. No, do it. Because you'll look back and be like, fuck, I didn't do this. I didn't spend time here. Take every time you can with that kid, because that shit, you ain't getting it back. That's one thing we both know. You don't get time back. You can make more money.
And everybody, always harps on you. Oh, it goes fast, and it's, that's kind of one of the bitches of life, I think, is that, when you're in that spot, it's hard to take advice from people. Mm-hmm. Even though they're right, and looking back on it, I remember a lot of people like, hey, enjoy that shit. When you're at fucking Target and you've got a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old that are running you fucking ragged, and you're like, God damn it, I can't wait for them to just grow up a little bit. But then they do, and you miss that time. And it is hard to appreciate it when you're in the middle of it, but do your best to do it, because, it goes really fucking quick. And I find myself missing it, missing when my kids were younger and doing some of the things that you do as a young family and what have you. And I try not to dwell on it too much, but, I also, made a concerted effort, even though I was busy and gone a fair bit, is to try to be present when I was there. And I felt like I was, and maximize some of those little times of taking them for walks and skating and, helping with dogs and whatever else and all that stuff. But, it's important.
No, the good news is I'm about to drop a little shit off at your porch every now and then. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to ask. I'm going to just leave his ass. And as you hear the car driving off, by the way, he's on your porch. I'm going to leave that little fucker at all kinds of places.
Yeah. Fire station.
Yeah. Because you can put trackers on them now, right? Like, you can tag them like a dog.
Yeah, I mean, you got those Apple Air tags, right?
Exactly.
Slap one of those in his
and just
fucking
let him
diaper
swallow
or whatever.
it.
Yep.
Yeah. And way it's good for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Enjoy your kids. Business is always going to be there. Well, I say always going to be there, but business isn't more important than your family. Okay, here we go. For those of us new to superchargers, what should we know or do? Well, you should have done your research before you fucking got a supercharger. Now, okay, this is where shit could get complicated here, because there's 2 types of forced induction. There's supercharger and there's turbo. One uses waste, one uses power. People don't realize that. Supercharger uses power to make power. For instance, a GT500 takes 91 horsepower to turn a Roots the twin screw supercharger. So for that car to make 760 horsepower, it's giving up 91 to spin the Roots to rebuild that horsepower. It's pretty weird. Versus a turbo, you're using the exhaust gas waste to rebuild the power, recirculate it, and put it back in. Now, I'm simplifying this, and some people in the comments are going to be like, that's not how it works. Essentially, that's how it works. It's a little more than that, but to simplify it. What should you know about your supercharger? First off, read your manual. Some superchargers you have to service every 10,000 miles. Some of them you don't service for 50,000 miles. Also depends how you drive it.
Yeah.
With our asses, we probably, even if it's 100,000 miles, need to service our shit more often. Check your belts. I mean, it's common sense, really. I think personally, supercharged systems are pretty simple. It's stuff you're going to look at. You're going to see when you're getting your oil change. They're going to check your supercharger belts, your filters, things like that. Your main thing is your supercharger oil, and fucking enjoy it and have fun. If you don't know, you can make more boost by lowering your pulleys or raising your bottom pulley. There's all kinds of shit that can get technical. You know who you are. You ask the question. Ask us when you see us at a meet, and I can get down and talk to you more about that. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I don't really have anything to add to it. I mean, I also don't really understand what the question even is. Frankly, is it, what do I need to know? It's like, well, I mean, is it a truck? Is it a car? Is it? It's
a Toyota RAV4, or not a RAV4. What's that? Small?
4Runner?
Yeah, you know whose it is. Yeah, the 4Runner.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess my take for that. I don't know what it adds to your car, horsepower wise, speed wise, performance wise. So to me, that would determine whether or not I would fuck with it. To me, in a 4Runner, like, this is just me. The point of a 4Runner is not to go fast. It's to crawl over shit and be off road and use as like a utility 4-wheel drive or go bag / go truck or recreational vehicle off-roading primarily. So just me, like if I had one, I doubt that I would put a supercharger in it because, even a fast 4Runner is still not fast compared to fast cars. So,
yeah,
it's like you're not going to be beating fast cars anyway. And even if you're out there trying to race Raptors and TRXs and stuff, it's like, get a fast car to do that. I mean, a 4Runner just really isn't it. So it isn't for that. So for me, I don't really get it. I don't know what it costs. I don't know, again, what it adds power wise, but for me, it just seems like kind of a waste of money, but to each their own too. I mean, if that's what fucking does it for you and what have you, then fucking have at it.
You know what he should have done? He should have took that supercharger money, put it on that down payment on that R8 he didn't get. Mm-hmm. Punk bitch. Now, I like the car. I like the build. If you're going to be rock crawling, I think you made a good choice. Again, there's other types of cars for that. But as a mall crawler, as long as you enjoy it.
I mean, 4Runners are great vehicles. I mean, yeah. I'm not knocking them at all.
I know a lot of chicks with them.
Yeah, same with those Scout Bobbers.
Yeah.
For what they're for, I would absolutely have one. They're great vehicles. It's just, again, I don't really get the point of supercharging one, but I don't need to get the point. There's obviously enough people that like it and want to do it for there to be a market for it. I just wouldn't be one of them. But.
Yeah. Hell, you almost bought one not 6 months ago or so, wasn't it? Or you looked at them?
Yeah, I mean, this was probably a little over a year ago. Yeah. I was looking at them, but yeah, that was the reason. I was like, if I need a utility, I'd rather have a truck. It has way more room and towing capacity and all that kind of stuff. If I want something that I can do that type of stuff with, I want something that I'm going to be able to get the most out of, which a truck for me and what I use it for is just much more useful.
Yeah. Someone's asking about the Olympics. I personally am not watching the Olympics.
Me either.
The Winter Olympics I have a hard time with anyways. But
I like them, but I'm not watching them. I'm not like taking this hard line. I'm boycotting the China Olympics. It's not quite that emotional. I just don't really give a fuck. And I'm also over the whole, most sports nowadays, the political affiliations, the social justice bullshit that's ingrained into them, as well as, like in this case, there's a U.S. born Chinese descent female downhill skier that's at the last minute decided she's not going to represent the United States and going to ski for China. And she's like one of the best, if not the best in the world. Like, you know, she's going to clean house and expected to medal several times and whatever. To me, shit like that makes me just say, well, fuck you. I'm just not going to watch it. You know, I mean, like that's a slap in the face. I think it's disrespectful. And you know, so for all of those reasons, I just don't really have any desire to watch it. You know, I mean, when I was growing up, I thought the Olympics were awesome. I loved watching them, but
yeah, like that one violent shit with the club.
Yeah. But, you know, yeah, just any more like a lot of other sports that have been, I think, polluted with so many other social issues and other things that just, you know, it's like the reason that you, at least for me, the reason why I like watching sports historically is to get away from the normal routine and bullshit day to day and just appreciate people's athletic talent and their work ethic and training and all that stuff and watch people competing at a high level. That's entertaining. But when there's all these other backstory pieces and, you know, social justice crap and whatever, I just, like, to me, it's like, fuck it, it's not even worth watching. But
yeah,
I ain't got time to watch it anyway. But
yeah, it's honestly, it's just, it hadn't been for me. This is Shaun White's supposedly last time he's ever competing at all, which is kind of cool because I was telling my wife, I was like, that's the Tony Hawk of snowboarding.
yeah, for sure.
That little carrot top motherfucker. He's a badass. But
Yeah.
that part's gonna suck. But I watch it on the DVR. And then same person wrote, "Be careful leaving the shows with the crowd missile again. We told you the GT500 is a little bit different, but the guy who wrote this is a little different in the head, so he don't get things." Matt, I heard you talk about building guns in Clint's podcast. What type of guns?
None of your business.
Yeah, I got them ones. They're hidden. Do either of you do long range shooting? 800 plus yards.
I don't.
I had a gun. I was gonna do 800 plus yards, and then I just kind of got bored. In all honesty, I've shot animals walking at 563 or some crap like that. It's hanging up in that other office over there.
That you can't see.
Yeah, it's over there. Shooting long range, I mean, while it's difficult to me nowadays, it's also very easy with the technology we have with scopes. It's kind of like cars to me. If you got the money, shooting long range ain't shit, because you can buy a great set of tools and you can go teach anybody to shoot long range with a good scope and a good gun. Now, if we set rules and only allowed certain types of guns with cheap-ass scopes, that's a whole different deal.
Yeah.
And then I built ARs. We went and built Shadow Systems guns. That was a fucking blast.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I take anything modular, even cars. If I can take it apart and build it, chances are I'm taking it apart and building it. AR-15s, which my last two I haven't built because, fuck, you can buy them out of the box so good now, it's not worth the time building them these days.
Yeah.
SIGs, they're fun to take apart, build. Glocks, they're fun to take apart and build. Not to sound like a fanboy, but when we built the Shadow Systems guns, it's literally with taking Glocks and SIGs apart. It's
same shit.
It's both those guns fucked and made a Shadow System. I catch myself playing with that gun so often, dry firing it and just fucking with it.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, it's a cool gun, and it's neat to have built it from scratch too.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's pretty awesome.
When we say scratch, these dudes were
from fucking scratch.
Yeah, the springs, everything was separate. I mean,
the gun was broken down as far as it. I mean, it was built the smallest pieces that it can be broken down into from that stage all the way to fully built, which was pretty neat.
Yeah, it was a really cool experience. Some cool people in the room, but my brother, he's actually going to school to become a gunsmith right now.
Oh shit!
Yeah, his passion, you met James. His passion is building guns. I mean, you can sit there and he'll talk about guns like we talk about cars. And there's some shit he talks about guns that it's like watching us talk about cars when our wives are around. They're like, yeah, and it's when he's doing that, I like engaging with him because he's so engaged and talking about it, and you can tell his passion. I'm not that passionate about guns anymore. I never really was, but he is. So when he's talking about them, I love to listen to everything he's saying because I get it. I get talking about cars to someone who just don't fucking give a fuck about a car.
Yeah.
So I hope he does really well. I think it's neat to anytime somebody pursues their passion, whether they're 20 or fucking 58 like he is. He ain't 58, but he's old as fuck. He's in his 50s, I think. I don't know. Comment if you're in your 50s. I can't fucking remember, you old bastard. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. I was saving this one for last. This is going to turn into something here. So I saved it for last. Well, I got one more. For the fan base, what do you want to see created other than T-shirts? Make me a bicycle, fucking clown. Hats, we know. Everybody wants hats.
I want hot air balloons that you can buy and drive.
Yes.
That's what I want.
Yeah, or sailboats.
Yeah. Fucking boats and hose.
We're going to probably be working on the merch line later on in the year. Literally the past 2.5 months have really consumed our after-hours stuff of shit we've been trying to come up with. So hopefully in the next couple months we'll have some free time to fuck with that.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the other one. Other than a 401k and saving money, what else can someone do at a basic level to invest for people who aren't looking to become entrepreneurs? Basically, what can someone do to make more money but play it safe? If you have $5,000 to $10,000 and didn't own a business and didn't have a gun addiction, what would you do with that money?
So there's a huge asterisk when you say playing it safe.
Yeah.
The safer you play it, the more directly proportional that is to your potential money that you're going to make, generally speaking. The risk versus reward. Typically, the riskier stuff, the shit that's more volatile, is what you can lose more faster on or you can gain quicker on. I would say, unquestionably right now, if for anybody out there that's got an extra 5 to 10K and they don't want to put it in 401s, I wouldn't put it in the stock market either. I would buy crypto. But there's a huge caveat with that also, is that's gambling, basically. Yes, there are data trends that you can follow. You can watch 10 million different fucking YouTube experts that all have different opinions. Some of them have similar opinions. Nobody really knows ultimately what the fuck's going to happen. There's people that have more of an inside than others. But ultimately, there's been enough surprises and enough volatility in the crypto markets over the last 10 years or so, 8 years, to where I would say use caution, educate yourself, do a lot of research. Don't just start throwing money in. But that's, to me, the easiest way, to invest a volume of money in that range to have fun with and kind of feel like you're doing something with it without trying to start a business or whatever. Taking that amount of money and trying to invest in another business, I think, is largely a fruitless endeavor also, because while, yes, you can do it, that amount of money isn't going to make or break a business starting out. And so you're not going to get a big chunk of a business. Like anything where 5 to 10 grand is a big or a significant part of that business's investment, that business isn't going to, in 3 years, 10x your fucking money. It just isn't, Now, if you're investing $750,000 or something like that, then that's a different story. But since you're not, to me, crypto hands down is your best bet. I'm not saying it's the safest. I'm not saying it's the most sure thing or anything like that. Just bang for your buck. The potential is the highest with that, so long as you have some fucking clue how to research it and how to play it right.
Yeah, what he said. No, I've been doing a lot of researching lately on this too. It's gonna sound weird because we've talked about this in the past, and it would take a lot of footwork on your end. For one, you'd more than likely have to find a friend. that know somebody. You have to know somebody who knows somebody. But where I'm going with this, high-end watches, Rolex, for instance, if you spend your 10 grand on a Rolex, now here's where it's going to get tricky because not all Rolexes are worth having. Now, I'm not saying buy them, go work on a car in it and beat the fuck out of it and have it repaired 15 times. No. If you're wanting to invest, you're going to put this watch up in your safe, wear it every now and then, because like Mike had mentioned in another episode, if you're not using it, you have to shake it up and all that, and that letting it die too often is bad for the spring, or winding it up too much is bad for the spring. But say you get the Batman like I had before. You never wear that Batman. Or you get the Submariner like you have. This is where your research is going to come in. We're going to say this is a $10,000 watch. Right now, the Batman watch is selling for anywhere from $18,000 to $22,000 depending on condition. Well, of course, if you haven't worn your watch, you're going to be closer to that $22,000. Here's where your research is going to come in. You don't buy these watches secondhand or gray market or anything. You have to buy from an AD, and that's an authorized distributor. What you're going to do is someone has to introduce you to this distributor because, believe it or not, no matter how much money you have, you can't walk in and order a Rolex. It don't work that way. It's actually kind of difficult to get into the Rolex market. But once you've bought one through an AD, you can go buy more. So you collect this watch. You could gamble your money after a couple years and sell this watch. Now your 10,000 is 20,000. And then you can go take and you can buy two more $10,000 watches, do the same thing, and you can keep doing that. Here's where your kicker is. You can't buy a specialty watch more than once until it comes out in a new series under your name, because it sends flags to Rolex that this motherfucker's reselling our watches. So, for instance, the Batman. I couldn't buy another Batman till the new model Batman came out with the new movement, which I did for somebody at McLaren. I helped them get one. The Submariner, same thing, because they're hard to get. Now, I could buy one with a date, one without a date, and if I bought those two, then I can change colors and all that. So there's where your kicker is, but you can play that market with the watches and build up your – I mean, that's a safe way to do it.
Yeah.
But that's where it takes research. Because, I mean, if you buy a lady's date just for $6,500 and you go, man, I saved $3,500. You know, I still have this to play crypto with. I got this. I'm going to wait 2 years. That watch is worth $4,500 in 2 years.
Yeah.
There's certain watches that don't. So that takes research. But with all investments of any kind, if you ain't doing some kind of back research, I think you're wasting your fucking time investing. Or if you have somebody that says, hey, go here.
Yeah.
Or you invest your 10 grand and you buy a bunch of Team Dog food. Never use this food.
Never. And then one day you send it to Mike and maybe Mike will sign it. Yeah. And then it'll still be worth what you paid for it.
It'll be worth less because all the stuff that ate those back. Yeah. But there's another thing you could do. No, but there's other things outside of watches and things like that. Hell, what is it? Gold, silver bricks and shit, coins. There's certain coins.
Yeah, I mean,
those are safe, but they're still just as volatile as crypto to a point.
Well, so in my opinion, gold and silver are far less volatile. I mean, if you look at the kind of the market trends on both of them, they're far more stable, but they're also far more stagnant. You know, gold hasn't done shit in 10 years, and you know, silver the same thing. By comparison, like they're much safer hedges against inflation, or you know, kind of leveraging your financial portfolio a little bit. I wouldn't put more than probably 5, maybe 10% of whatever you're trying to store wealth-wise in gold. I mean, to me at this point, you'd be far better off. Like if you had, let's just say arbitrarily, you had $10,000 that you wanted to save. You'd honestly be better off putting it in a stable coin that's staking crypto wise, and you'll make a better return off of that than you would sticking it in a fucking bank account or, doing a CD or a bond or whatever. So, so I would do that before I would do gold, before I would do a bank account, before I would do anything else.
Yeah.
But,
that's another safe one right there.
Stable coins. Yeah.
That's real safe.
Well, yeah, I mean,
or safer.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I mean, there is the little bit of, there's some people that say, no, nothing will ever happen. Like it's totally safe, whatever. To me, anything electronic via the internet, like there's always that risk. I mean, that like sometimes people's wallets get hacked, and like you got to be real smart about how you store them, how you store your crypto or stable coins or whatever. And, there's firms that can help you, but then they take portions of it. And, so again, it's a medium where you need to have a good understanding of how it all works before you start throwing fucking money into it, or you're probably going to get burnt or lose it or whatever. But it is a pretty viable option for your average everyday person that wants to be an investor of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
So
now, a good way I made a lot of money, I got an email once, and it was this prince. And he was having trouble with his money.
This Nigerian prince that bought a bicycle for $30,000 that I was only asking $2,800 for.
Yeah. So, I mean, I sent him $5,000. I'm supposed to be getting like $352 million here any day now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he said he's sending it American Express traveler checks.
Yeah.
So I'll be cashing those out real soon, bitches.
Right.
So that's a little bit of the questions and answers section. We kind of went through them a little bit faster. I ain't lying. I wasn't pacing it very well. But this is the first one. So Ask.Uninfluenced @gmail.com. The description on the YouTube is below. This is what Mondays are going to be, us answering your questions. And they could be all kinds of questions. As you've seen, some of these y'all might think are stupid, but everybody has a passion for something. And these are, again, just our opinions. These aren't facts. So don't go invest in watches, and if you lose money,
like
blame us.
Matt fucking told me.
Yeah, Matt said this, and I bought this. It was a Rolex with a discount because the R was an F.
Yeah.
So I bought 30 of them. And if someone does buy $10,000 of dog food, we're gonna need to talk later.
Yeah.
No, but
I'm gonna need 1% of that.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a kickback. But just a little bit of what we do. Ask us anything, unless you're Randy. Randy, your questions are dumb as fuck. Other than that, everybody, that's it. It's not going to be one of those charged things. Ask the questions, and we'll go from there. Make sure to check us out Mondays now at 9 Central Standard Time on all your podcast platforms and YouTube. Wednesday, same thing. And Friday for mic drops. I would say the majority of Fridays now, you're going to get a mic drop. So that's it. You got anything else?
Yeah, nothing.
Rohan?
I got nothing.
Cue music. Who cares? Peace.